Carbon Reporting, Scope 1 Overview. Hi, welcome back, Sustainability Superheroes. In today's video, we're going to dive into the world of carbon emissions and explore Scope 1. So, grab your capes, and let's get started. What is Scope 1? Well, Scope 1 refers to a category of greenhouse gas emissions that are directly generated by an organization's activities or operations. These emissions are often referred to as direct emissions, because they come from sources that the organization owns or controls. Now, let's break it down further and understand how to analyze and measure emissions, how to calculate carbon footprints, and finally the benefits of Scope 1 reporting. First, let's check how to identify and measure direct emissions. To effectively report Scope 1 emissions, organizations need to identify and measure the sources of their direct emissions. These sources typically include emissions from the combustion of fossil fuels. Now, let's see various steps to identify and measure emissions. Step 1. Source categorization. First, we need to categorize the sources of emissions. Scope 1 emissions typically arise from the combustion of fossil fuels within an organization's owned or controlled facilities. This includes sources such as on-site boilers, furnaces, and vehicles. It's crucial to compile a comprehensive list of these sources to ensure accurate measurement. Step 2. Data collection. We need to collect the necessary data to quantify emissions. This involves gathering information on the type and quantity of fuel consumed by each source. Organizations should maintain detailed records of fuel receipts, usage logs, and any other relevant data sources. Accurate and comprehensive data collection is crucial for precise emission calculations. Step 3. Emission factor determination. Once the fuel consumption data is obtained, we need to determine the emission factors specific to each type of fuel. Emission factors represent the amount of greenhouse gas emissions produced per unit of fuel consumed. These factors can be obtained from recognized sources such as governmental agencies, industry associations, or scientific research. Using the appropriate emission factors ensures accurate and consistent calculations. Step 4. Calculation of emissions. With the emission factors in hand, we can now calculate the Scope 1 emissions. The calculation involves multiplying the fuel consumption data for each source by the corresponding emission factor. This yields the total emissions from each source. To obtain the organization's overall Scope 1 emissions, the emissions from all sources are summed together. Secondly, let's find out how to calculate carbon footprint. Once the direct emission sources are identified, organizations must calculate their carbon footprint. This involves converting the total emissions data into equivalent carbon dioxide (CO2) emissions using emission factors provided by recognized sources. By quantifying their emissions, organizations can assess their impact on the environment and set targets for emission reduction. Finally, let's explore some important benefits of Scope 1 reporting. Benefit 1. Understanding emission sources. By reporting Scope 1 emissions, organizations gain a deeper understanding of the sources that contribute to their carbon footprint. This knowledge allows them to identify areas where emissions can be reduced or eliminated, leading to more efficient and sustainable operations. Benefit 2. Target setting and performance tracking. Scope 1 reporting enables organizations to set emission reduction targets and track their progress over time. By monitoring their emissions, businesses can implement strategies and initiatives to achieve their goals, contributing to a lower carbon future and demonstrating their commitment to sustainability.
Benefit 3: Risk management.
Through Scope 1 reporting, organizations can assess the potential risks associated with their direct emissions. This includes the financial risks of carbon pricing or regulatory changes, as well as the physical risks of climate change impacts. By understanding and managing these risks, organizations can safeguard their operations and ensure long-term resilience.
Benefit 4: Stakeholder engagement and transparency.
Transparently reporting Scope 1 emissions demonstrates an organization's commitment to environmental responsibility. It enhances credibility and fosters trust among stakeholders, including customers, investors, and employees. By engaging with stakeholders on sustainability initiatives, organizations can build strong relationships and gain a competitive edge in the market. Remember, each of us has the power to make a difference by reducing our carbon footprint. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll explore Scope 2 and Scope 3 emissions and their importance in sustainability reporting. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel to join our community of sustainability superheroes. Thank you for watching, and until next time, let's continue saving the world together.